Well, greetings, my beloved clients and friends. We're coming to you today from Westcliff, Colorado. Here for the weekend doing a Sangre de Cristo mountain run. And so, you know that song, America the Beautiful? And it says, for purple mountains majesty above the fruited plains. Well, I was told that the lady that wrote that was looking at these purple mountains and their majesty. So I'm walking through the fruited plains, seeing the sun rise over the purple mountains, and they're majestic. And so something to think about as we're going through a little bit of a rough patch. But this is still America the Beautiful. And especially right now in the global economy compared to what's going on in Europe and Asia, risk of famine in Africa, and runaway inflation in South America. America is looking pretty beautiful by comparison. And we talked a few months ago about the clouds on the horizon, and there are clouds, but when those clouds blow away, the horizon will still be there, and we'll still be in America. And the economy goes in cycles, and we've been through these cycles many times before, and what's left at the end is America continuing to advance. So I want you to keep that in mind and look at the beautiful scenery. When I get to the top of this hill, we'll look at the other range. We'll look at the other range that I'm looking at, and it's also beautiful. It's these two competing mountains, and they're both beautiful. Check this out. You see that one behind me? The camera doesn't really do it justice, but it's really beautiful out here. And they go through seasons here too. They go through seasons when it's hot, and they go through season when at first it looks beautiful when they call it changing colors, but they're really dying, and then the trees die off, and then they come back in the spring. So the market goes through seasons too. And what happened this week, Powell raised rates by 0.75% for the third time in a row. There was talk about, is it going to be 0.75%? Is it going to be 1%? It was only 0.75%, and surprisingly, the market should have been a little bit relieved by that, but they still sold off a little going into Wednesday and coming out of Wednesday. They sold off, and I don't know. If I think about the market bottoms that I've been through personally, the one in 2020 was very short-lived, the COVID one. So we can't really draw too much from that. But the 2008, 2009, and 2000 to 2002, those are big market pullbacks. And especially 2008 and 9, remember being at the bottom, and signals were all saying it's time to start buying, and we did. The signals were, the news was not. The news was extremely pessimistic, and hardly anyone was saying, yeah, I'm bargain hunting right now. Even the people that were doing it weren't saying it because they would look ridiculous. Okay? And Warren Buffett started buying in October, and he was 5 months early. We started going back in like in January. We were like 3 months early. And but we ended up that year up like 27%. even with a rough first 3 months. So the thing about bottoms is the market will never tell you you're at a bottom until you've already blown past it and are a good way up the other side. So those they're called lagging indicators because they tell you what happened a few months ago. And so we watch that stuff, but the sense, the feel, like, and we were talking about in the office this week that in a video I said a few months ago that I'm a little concerned because there's still hope. There's still hope. The talking heads still have hope, and the market is going to squeeze that hope out of them. That was about 6 months ago, and there's not too much hope hanging on, which is a good sign. That means when you're close to a bottom, is all the hope gets squeezed out. And so in the last 6 months, a good chunk of that hope has squeezed out. And the rational people that are like, man, it might be a good time to start buying, they might be doing it, but they're being quiet about it because people would think, what are you guys talking about? And that's exactly how it was in early 2009. There was extreme pessimism and extreme fear on the news. That's a good time to buy. Okay, so we did some buying in the last couple of weeks, and I think we're pretty much done. But I'm telling you, some great companies that we have, even the ones in our portfolio. I mean, there's nothing that I would really want to sell because it's like, man, if I didn't own it, I'd buy it because at this price, it's very attractive. So I can't see selling much in this market because the things we have are high quality and priced very attractive. But we're invested enough that I think I'm done buying. I like what I've bought recently, and I think we're just going to hold on to the great companies we have and let them naturally float to the top. But yeah, I just wanted to do a quick update and just keep some perspective in mind that there have been up and down cycles, and we're in a down one, but the long-term trend is for companies to be profitable, and good companies to do well. And people ask me, well, what do you think is going to happen 6 months from now? I said, well, 6 months from now, people are probably going to want to talk on their cell phones and do stuff online and go shopping and need clothes and shoes and food and housing and stuff. Right? They're going to need toothpaste and the Super Bowl is going to happen. The next baseball season is going to happen, and people are going to go, and movies are going to come out, and people are going to go watch them. That happens. So I think, and the advances that we are seeing in technology, in healthcare, and just things are getting faster, and robots, and there's a lot on the horizon that eventually will pull us out of this. And there's some companies that are leading the way, and if we own those, they'll pull through this. So we're just basically, what I'm saying is stay the course and remember that where we live, like maybe get out like me and check out America the Beautiful. And if you ask me what's going to be like 6 months from now, if I came back here, it'd be really pretty. It'd be springtime, and I'd probably have allergies and You know why? Because the stuff that died in the winter came back in the spring. Okay, and the cows would be pregnant and having babies. And I'm not too worried. Eventually, Powell's determined to fix inflation, and that's good. And he might tighten a little too much. That's the concern, but that we might drop into a recession, which technically we're already in one. So these things about will there be a recession? Well, yeah, there already is one, especially coming out of the craziness of all the money spent in COVID. There should be a pullback. So if we take a step back and get a bigger perspective, I think for the long-term investor that holds great companies, we don't have a ton to be worried about long-term. Day-to-day, month-to-month, it's not always fun. But over time, I think our wealth will continue to compound. So I hope this was a help. Maybe this thin air's got me thinking right or crazy, one or the other. But yeah, I mean, it's great companies are going to continue. They're making corrections in Silicon Valley. That they're laying people off because they had gotten bloated and they were paying people a ton, and now they were desperate. They were paying people a lot to hire them, and they realized they had too many people. And so what does that mean? That's going to make those companies stronger and leaner and more efficient, and they're actually going to look at let's manage the operations of this company, because during the easy time you don't have to be that efficient, and now they will. And I think that's good. The corporate America went through that cycle in the 80s, and the Raiders did it back then. They forced companies to be good, and it led to a period of long-term economic growth. So I still believe that these great companies are going to get it right, and we're going to keep an eye, make sure the handful of great companies we have are not making any major mistakes, and we could always make adjustments along the way. All right, so I hope you guys enjoy this video and have a great weekend.